I'm talking about hydroid medusas.
Hydroid medusas.
Yeah, so let's talk about jellyfish first. Right? Jellyfish are awful. So that's why they are such a template for horror for me.
Uh-huh.
And to see really big ones.
Really big,
like the size of buildings. Half machine, half organic. So one thing that becomes clear to the good guys that fought them, it seemed that their blaster fire and lightsaber attacks weren't working.
Right.
Well, the thing is, they were working. They just regenerated very quickly.
Oh.
So it didn't really fucking matter. And that's why they're so horrible. But yeah, these hydroid medusas were created by the shark people.
The Carcharodons.
They come from their homeworld. These creatures, in their fully organic form, were a pestilence on the planet that they were from. And instead of being utterly destroyed, the shark people decided to make a synthetic, organic version of them so they could weaponize them.
Oh, good. So, Prince Liiiiike, he is the surviving son of the assassinated King Yoskolina. Would you like to know why Liiiike's name is Liiiike?
Yeah, I'm so scared that you're going to go here, but here we go.
Prince Liiiike is named Prince Liiiike, as in Charlie the tuna, the Starkist tuna mascot.
Okay, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Goodbye. I'm leaving.
Not even kidding. That is from the official StarWars.com information. That's not speculation. He was named after Charlie the tuna. Also in this room, we have Captain, it's either Guile or Giel, Gial. Giel? Giel?
I don't know. He's fucking Akbar. Captain Akbar.
And Captain Akbar, we know this guy. He is a male Mon Calamari military officer. Over the course of these episodes, he's acting as the personal bodyguard and advisor to Prince Liiiiike. He seems like a good guy. I hope we see him again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a trap! Yeah. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
That guy. So they are led by Commander Monk, who is Kit Fisto's commander. This particular group of troopers, they are outfitted as clone scuba troopers. They are trained and outfitted for underwater combat. They are wearing clone dive armor. So the dive armor, you may have noticed, I noticed because I noticed these things, it doesn't have like the cod piece. The armor itself, like there's not as much armor plating on the legs and such. They don't have all of the armor pieces that Phase 1 or Phase 2 land armor would have because it needs to be lighter.
Because they have to swim.
Now, the suit will help them swim. It's got a 6-jet mini propulsion system built in. And I'm going to read you this quote from Wikipedia describing this armor.
Okay.
Clone dive armor could provide a 12-hour supply of oxygen, and during that time, the wearer also had a supply of fresh water, nutrition supplements, and other biological necessities.
I.e., they shit in their suit.
They shit in their suit. We've talked about war crimes before. We're going to keep talking about war crimes because it is Star Wars. So that's a subject that's going to keep coming up. But in talking about war crimes before, we have had people, a lot of people, make the predictable counter-argument that this isn't Earth, and so there's no Earth law.
There's no politics in Star Wars.
Same thing, right. To those people, I also say, I know, I get that Earth law does not apply in the galaxy far, far away. However, this is fiction, and these stories are written by and performed for Earthlings from Earth. So it is important to recognize that we are being shown something for a purpose. We're being shown a war crime so that we will recognize a war crime when we see it in real life. So that kids who are watching Clone Wars can see, hey, torturing people, that's bad. Mm-hmm. It's so that we can learn from it. It has always been the mission of Star Wars to teach us about war and our conduct during war. And yes, again, the other argument against war crimes is, but it's war. People are going to get killed in war. I know. And the Geneva Conventions and every war crime law that's ever been thrown out there takes into account that this is war and bad things happen, but the way things happen matters. Mm-hmm. We're going to be killing people, sure, but the way that we kill people matters. So, having your soldiers charge the battlefield and bite the faces off of their enemy combatants, that's bad. That's bad. I'm going to speculate here that physically biting chunks out of your enemy on the battlefield would fall under the cruel treatment and outrages upon personal dignity that are prohibited very explicitly by these laws.
Yeah, but that's his prime. I mean, I don't know about that.
He could pick up a weapon. The Wookiees won't use their claws in a fight because it's wrong.
Okay, fair. Okay, you've changed my mind just like that.
But Anakin loses his concentration and, oh no, his wife is going to drown and die immediately in front of him, but who saves the day?
Jar Jar spits on her face.
Jar Jar.
Which creates this like horrible, gross mucus stain, but it also seals the crack in her mask.
Yes.
And Padme at first is like, oh my god, I can breathe, and oh my god, what's on my fucking face?
Jar Jar sealed my helmet with his...
Yes, sir. It's a Gungan waterproofing. It's a why we swim so good.
she's so grossed out, but it works, and everybody thanks Jar Jar profusely in that moment. No, nobody said anything. Nobody was like, thanks Jar Jar for spitting on my face and saving me from drowning.
Yeah.
No,
it's just they changed the subject. They're like,
yeah, they just move on. Kit Fisto kind of smiles a little bit. That's about it. That's all they get. Kit Fisto's gunship has on the nose painted a balm with Kit Fisto's grinning face on it, and in Aurebesh underneath it, it says, service with a smile. And I think we could all do with a little Kit Fisto service.
I agree.
With a smile. God damn. Because, he's a water dude.
Yeah.
So he shows up to this wearing some shorts.
And that's it.
And that's it. And hats off to whoever lovingly crafted every bulging muscle on that frame, because...
I know. At least we got biceps, abs, and all that stuff. At least.
And thighs. Some rock-solid thighs. Still no booty, though.
Yeah, what is up with...
What the fuck? Are they allergic to ass on men?
I guess so.
Ugh. Anyway. But everything else on him is lovely. I mean, just Jedi training just keeps you fit, doesn't it? Just fit as can be. So pretty.
Padme and Anakin's are like, what the fuck do we do? All the Gungans have left, and they're going to attack the Naboo people. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, Jar Jar, the chaos god that he is, decides to put on the crown.
Well, he trips and falls over, and it accidentally ends up on his head.
Fucking Jar Jar. I love him. Anyway, so Padme and Anakin have a moment of racism and are like, oh, Jar Jar looks just like the other Gungan.
So, Boss Leone is deliberately designed with the exact same character model as Jar Jar. They actually do look alike because they are deliberately designed by the animators to look alike.
Yeah. In fairness, the other Gungans also think that it's the boss and not Jar Jar.
Exactly. This isn't just the humans can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Although when Anakin gets his terrible, horrible, wonderful idea to make Jar Jar dress up as Boss Leone and tell all the Gungans not to attack, Jar Jar did. Legit, I laughed my ass off when he was like,
but we said, oh, don't look at us.
Let's talk about Minister Richelieu real quick.
Uh-oh.
Get it? Richelieu, as in Cardinal Richelieu, the main villain of Alexandre Dumas' 1844 novel, The Three Musketeers.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, do you think he might be a bad guy?
I don't know. It's either that or the fact that he has a darker skin color and he's looking down and looking broody.
Let's talk about the darker skin color, too.
Yeah, let's do that.
This character gets a really heavy racism side-eye from me.
Yep.
Because not only is he the bad guy, and he's got the darkest skin of any Gungan you've ever seen, he's also got a literal bone through his nose. And he is this Gungan witch doctor who uses his arcane Gungan arts to manipulate people. Taking into consideration also that the Gungans are black-coated, dating back to the Phantom Menace, this is uncomfortable as fuck.
Agreed. 100%. And at first I'm thinking, General, what fucking general would want to talk to him, right? And then Jar Jar's like, yeah, sure, fucking, I'll talk to the general. I'm the boss, that's what I do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then Jar Jar walks in, and it's fucking Grievous.
It's fucking Grievous! And he walks in, and Jar Jar takes one look at Grievous and, flinches and freezes.
Yep. Which is the appropriate reaction.
It is the correct response. When you are Jar Jar Binks and you've just been walked into a small room with General Grievous, flinch, freeze, hope his vision is based on movement.
Yep.
And then he's like, okay, he saw me. All right, I'm here. I'm Boss Leone. I'm finding my character. What's my motivation?
What's my motivation?
And he sits down in the chair and then spends like a solid 10 seconds of this show playing with the chair. Like, up and down with the chair. And Grievous is like, what the fuck?
This is literally my favorite moment in Clone Wars. General Grievous is like trying to suss out this imposter.
Right.
Because Grievous is getting more and more frustrated. He's finally figuring out that Jar Jar is not who he says he is. Like at one point he says,
"You are a man of few words, Boss Leone."
Well, Misa more of a deep thinker.
I do have to say, I love inflicting Jar Jar on Grievous, though, because fuck that guy.
Yeah, so Grievous kicks the fucking desk towards Jar Jar, and not even Grievous is immune to the entropy field of Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar accidentally hits the console that opens the door that lets him escape, and Grievous is trying to fucking monologue.
Exactly. He gets into it. I guess some great opening power line like,
"You have no idea of the power within my grasp."
Yeah, literally my favorite scene in Clone Wars ever. I love that scene so much.
It was really fucking good. Thank you, Ahmed Best. Thank you, Jar Jar. That was brilliant. Dooku captures Anakin, gets him up in shackles, and meanwhile, back at the Gungan camp, Padme gets a phone call. And she's like, oh, it's Anakin!
Yeah, it's Anakin, yay! Oh,
wait, it's actually not Anakin at all. It's Dooku going, hey, so I have something of yours, you have something of mine, let's just trade and walk away.
And at first Padme's like, fuck you, we're not doing that. And Dooku's like, are you sure? And then he demonstrates Anakin getting tortured.
Right. And Padme, finally, calls out the war crime and is like,
Stop! You cannot torture a prisoner.
Torture? I don't know what you mean.
What torture?
Like, he literally just says, what are you talking about? You crazy
what
bitch.
A dick. What a dick.
He's so awesome.
So, God bless Grievous's narcissism, because he's like, what the fuck are you gonna do, bitches? And he busts out his lightsabers. Him and Tarpals go one-on-one, and unfortunately, I did cry when this happened, because I do love me some General Tarpals a lot. General Grievous impales him, and he asks Tarpals,
"How does it feel to die?"
Not die.
Sacrifice!
Gets the close shot in, and fucks Grievous up badly.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the Gungans fling their bombads at him, disabling him.
Because they've got the power to short out droids.
Yep.
So Grievous is captured. A handful of Gungans managed to accomplish what the entire Grand Army of the Republic has not been able to accomplish in 4 seasons.
And the Jedi.
And the Jedi. So, can we give the Gungans a little credit and a little respect here, please?
I know, right?
So here's the thing, though, because this is sort of a conversation that is ongoing in the fandom, is about, like, who is actually more powerful than who, and who could kick whose ass. The point has been made in multiple interviews with people who should know that your skill level and your power has nothing to do with whether or not you're going to win a fight in Star Wars.
Right.
So here we have Anakin Skywalker. This is the chosen one. He is fighting fit and arguably in his prime. And he somehow gets his ass handed to him by 4 Magna Guards with a last-minute save from Dooku. And it's a good fight, but this is hardly an epic struggle. But he still gets his ass handed to him. He gets knocked out. He could have been killed. So this fight really demonstrates that power and skills got nothing to do with whether or not you win a fight in Star Wars. It's about what the story needs to happen.
Well, and also the tactics matter. You notice that at the very end of the fight, even though Dooku didn't do a whole lot, what he did do, he was, at the end of the fight, he was out of breath. He was breathing hard.
Yes. It's never like you just got punked by the plot. That's not a thing either. But the ultimate outcome of the fight is going to be whatever the story needed.
Yeah.
And so the drama of the fight will support the outcome that the story needed.
Yeah.
Dooku's worn out from just the effort of using enough Force lightning to knock this motherfucker out. And also Dooku's old. Let's be real.
Big heads of states and banquets and funerals long after they're no longer president. So it's not as if when Boss Leone was no longer, or when Boss Nass was no longer boss, that he could not go to these functions. It's crazy. I mean, it's the polite thing to do. we're just lucky he took the time to go to the funeral. It was a big event. Everyone was there, except obviously Anakin.
Okay, I get it. I feel ya. I do. These two little, like, wacky adventures of R2-D2 and C3... I'll come in again. R2-D2 and C3PO episodes that happened in the middle of Season 4 of Clone Wars, they were, jarring. They didn't really seem to match with, like, the cinematic themes of Star Wars. They definitely didn't feel like Clone Wars, and that is for a good reason. These two episodes were definitely an homage to a whole other show entirely. Check this out.
Stepping softly in a danger zone. No weapon in my hand. It's just this brain designed by man. Got me trouble again. Trouble again. I put my life in jeopardy. In the service of my friends. I wouldn't care, but it's a dangerous affair. I'm in trouble again. Trouble again.
Wolf is fucking great. I love all of the clones. I do. Wolf, God bless his grumpy ass.
So grumpy.
He's just, but the thing is, there's that song, I don't know if you know, it made the rounds on TikTok, and it was from a Madagascar movie. It's just like, I like 'em big. I like 'em big. I like 'em chunky. That one. But every time I see Wolf, I think, I like 'em big. I like 'em grumpy. Because I do. I love a grumpy guy. I don't know why. It's only in fiction, not in real life. Fuck, is that tiresome in real life.
Oh my god, yes.
But in fiction, give me grumpy. I love it.
I want a friend Alina.
No, they're my kind of people. They're like, hello chant translates, according to 3PO, as what are we having for dinner? And that is my soul. That is how I should be greeted, and I should greet other people, is what are we eating next? Like, they're little reptilian hobbits.
Aww.
And I just love them. We have seen them before.
Mm-hmm.
We first saw them in The Phantom Menace. He's one of the pod racers, is Rats Tyrell.
What?
Not kidding.
You're right.
The one who, when he died, he goes,
That's exactly what I had in my mind just right now. I'm like, oh my god, you're right.
We also saw them, we will see them in Revenge of the Sith. They are flying around on their cancels, these fucking giant-ass dragonflies. They fly around the Wookiees on their boats.
Aww.
Yeah. And the Alina are actually members of the Galactic Republic, so they had every right to call the Republic in to help. This is what the Republic is supposed to be doing, is coming to help them. Y'all, so often when we are presented with a fun fact online, that fact is not fun. But this one's actually really fun. Look, here's the game. Look at that. So cute. Okay, check out this video, though.
Hiya! How are you? If you want to play, you gotta choose a Pathwalker and click the play button. Would you like me to show you how to play this here Rats Race? Well, all right then. A real go-getter. First thing you need to do is spin an odd number to get your Pathwalker on the game board. Use this button to start the spinning. The Chubas do the rest. Good luck.
So she seems to have these magical powers, right? I found an interview with Dave Filoni, who specifically says that she is not a Force user.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, she is not. She has these powers that are very much like the magical powers that the Night Sisters seem to have. Mm-hmm. Which is not using the Force so much as being so connected with the Force that you have this sort of magical bleed over, and that gives you these abilities. But the Night Sisters are dark side, Orphne is using the light side.
Huh, okay.
That doesn't make her very nice or helpful.
At all.
At all. She is very much a fairy tale creature in this moment.
Yeah.
Like, the first thing she does when she meets these two is she tries to eat 3PO.
I can't eat you.
Hey, it's time for this week's episode of This Guy Right Here is Still the Best Thing About Doing Research for a Star Wars Podcast. This time around, it's because I can always count on him to come in clutch with a logical explanation for all the wacky-ass shit that they pull in Clone Wars. Check this out.
What is the deal with Orphney? Is she supposed to be a Force user? Absolutely not. Orphney is not a Force user. She's actually a frog lady. She's just a different kind of creature that you haven't seen in the Star Wars universe. Star Wars is based on a lot of mythic archetypes, and, you know, in the kind of naive realm of, even in the fairy world, the Red Riding Hood world, the Sleeping Beauty, the Cinderellas, there are these characters that are fairy-like, and they seem to be a bit more magical than the rest of the world. And R2 and 3PO are the ones that can have contact with this world. I mean, in a different way of looking at it, Yoda would seem magical to R2 and 3PO also. Now you say, well, but that's because he's a Force user. But Orphney is not the same as Yoda. She's probably very in touch with the Force, but she's not as like a Jedi. She's more into the kind of from the realm of the Mother Talzins, the magic users. There's ways to use the Force other than Sith and Jedi, but you're not really a Force wielder. You're just very in tune with nature, and things come naturally. So some of her abilities that you see moving very quickly that Orphney does is just based on her physicality and the type of alien she is, and the way that she can turn seemingly into the little magic fairy ball. That's a little bit more of the kind of magic we see the Night Sisters using, but Orphney's more on the good side of it than the bad side.
My favorite moment is in the shuttle at the end, where R2 and 3PO are on their way back to the shuttle, and they're chirping back and forth to each other about this adventure that they've been on, and R2's like, beep, beep, boop.
No, R2, I will tell the story. No one understands you anyway.
And they get on the shuttle, and 3PO is just like, just imagine it. We will be rewarded, and we might get some kind of accommodation. And over on the side, Wolf is just staring at him like, I could rip his head off right now.
Yeah, I know.
It's awesome. And he gives the biggest eye roll. He has been rolling his eyes throughout this entire episode. This is like eye roll number 10 for him.
And they're like, we're going to dump these motherfuckers off as soon as we can.
Yes.
As soon as we rendezvous with Master Galia, we're offloading those two.
I couldn't agree more, sir.
1000% done with these fucking droids. And every other member of the Wolfpack on that shuttle is like,
yes, sir. R2-D2's like, I am not going in a motherfucking escape pod.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're running around trying to find, 3PO's trying to find an escape pod, and they get into the hangar, and R2 mugs a droid and steals its Y-Wing.
Oh, what the and I'm just like, R2-D2, you are a dick sometimes.
This is what happens when he's not supervised. He is not used to not being involved in the fight. So he gets up in the little, astromech insertion on this Y-Wing, and 3PO's like, okay, well, I guess this is as good as an escape pod. And he starts climbing up there, and R2 starts up the ship and jiggles it to make 3PO fall into the cockpit. And he laughs at 3PO.
Yeah, he does.
This is not an escape pod. Well, if there's nothing better, I suppose it will just have to do. I'm sure I will live to regret it.
And flies and joins the fucking dogfight that's going on outside the ship.
Because R2 is Anakin's fucking droid.
So R2 wheels over to the big Jesus and is like, beepity beepity beep, right in his face. And 3PO goes,
R2, have your sensors frozen. I am not going to let you at him. In fact, I'm going to switch you off before you cause an intergalactic incident.
And then
C-3PO hits R2 a little bit too hard. And this was for me, this was a pearl clutching moment because R2 falls over and literally smashes the big Jesus.
Just squishes him flat. And then C-3PO picks him up.
And there's just mucus and crap all over. He's literally smashed
to fine blue goo that is now streaming off of R2 and stuck to the ground.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap.
I lost my shit.
Yeah, I did too.
That was fucking hilarious.